Not very many scenarios that I would have said, you know what, that's a good idea. But this one, I was like, you know what, that's a good idea. I thought it would be fun. Mr. Hendrick called me and he said, hey, and I know when these conversations from him, when he doesn't call me all the time, but when he does call, there's usually something behind it. And our conversation started by, I need a favor. And I was like, all right, well, whatever you need. Because Rick's, a lot of people don't understand how this sport works, and the people who are inside this sport understand that there's a lot of things that people within different teams and organizations do for one another when they're in a jam. So Rick called and said, hey, I want you to drive the car. And I said, let me make a few phone calls. So I had to call my bosses here at Fox, and I had to call my wife.
Who was first, the bosses or Dwayne?
Before I went to my wife, I was like, I need to make sure that everybody's good with this.
Yeah.
So I called everybody that I thought I needed to call, and then I called my wife, and I was like, hey,
Hey.
are you sitting down? She's like, I'm driving. I said, well, maybe you should pull over. And she's like, oh man, this is obviously a pretty serious question that you're getting ready to ask me. I said, so they've asked me to go drive Kyle Larson's car during the North Wilkesboro weekend. And she's like, okay, well, what'd you say? I said, yes, of course, because I just, there's just not too many opportunities that are presented the way that this one was presented from Rick to say, I need a favor. And she's like, well, if Mr. Hendrick needs a favor, he's done us good. You should go do it. And I said, okay. I'm excited to be a part of the equation because I can't wait I hope Kyle Larson goes up there and qualifies on the pole and wins the race. And I just think that story of when Kurt Busch and Tony Stewart went and did the double, I think that was good for racing.
Yeah.
I think it's good for NASCAR. I think it's good for Kyle Larson. I think it's good for Hendrick Motorsports. The bigger platform that Kyle Larson is on that weekend and that week, really month, I guess, is good for everybody. So just glad to be a little part of the equation to help in some way, shape, or form. So it'll be a fun day.